Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Gemini, Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's weekly reading for the week of September 23rd to the 29th. Your cards this week, Gemini, your oracle card is Imrama. You have Strength, Judgment, the Ace of Swords, the World, the Seven of Cups, and the High Priestess. So let's start with your oracle card here. Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? The Celtic word Imrama means a journey of the soul. A voyage on which we don't know where we are going, but our soul knows the way. If you pulled this card, you are either being called on a soul journey or are already on one. It could be a physical, ancient place or metaphoric. When we journey to places that our soul remembers, a shift takes place, both within us and to the planet as well. You are being called to journey to a place that is sacred to your soul. So I really get the sense here, Gemini, that you're awakening to some sense of truth and being called back to things, people, situation, places that align with your authentic self. So, this could be for some of you relocating to another city or town, maybe where your family is, maybe just in a place that feels like a better fit for you. You could say the same of a work situation, moving on to something that feels more purposeful or authentic for you. Even in a relationship, being called to make sure that you are seeking people that fulfill you on a soul level rather than focusing on, looks or just sort of, not connecting with the people that fully align with your values and higher self. So let's start here with the Seven of Cups and the High Priestess. Yeah. So we see that in that Seven of Cups here, the past position of maybe having a lot of opportunities on the table in love or work, whatever it is to you. This is a general reading, so it could be any of those areas. But, none of them are really sort of feeling like the right one for you. There could be lots of attractive opportunities, people, things, projects. However, it's like you can't really sort of narrow down and find that one that truly resonates for you. So, with that Seven of Cups, it is my card of, lots of promises, but not really delivering. And there's the element of confusion of sort of not really knowing which way to turn or which one to choose. So, I really feel like this is metaphorical of, having all the kind of potential, but just not really knowing which way to turn. And really, under that High Priestess energy, the key to determining, which opportunity to grasp onto is to tune into your intuition. Because the High Priestess, she is a revealer of truths when the time is right. So for you this week, she is the rumblings or the beginnings of opening up that guiding light to show you the direction of where you are being called to journey to. Because it sort of says in the past, these people, situation, things that you've been pursuing, it's almost like they're unobtainable. Now that could be because they're not a good fit for you in terms of your life purpose. Maybe they're just not authentic for you. This could mean, that you've been pursuing relationships in which maybe you've been focusing more on, looks or how a person can fulfill you in terms of lifestyle without thinking, is this person a really good match for me on a soul level? You could shift that exact same sentiment to a job. Maybe you've been chasing jobs that financially provide for you, but really, you know that you might be bored after a couple of years. It's that kind of thing. Things that sort of seem great on the outside, but once you kind of scratch the surface, what you're truly trying to seek and grasp isn't there. And the High Priestess says that, it is time to start revealing that awakening to you. She can, reveal truths to the person who is ready to receive them. So I think that you're starting to have that awakening to, okay, well, I kind of know that these things aren't fulfilling me, but I still don't really know, which way I'm supposed to be going. Which one of these cups should I actually, try and pursue rather than trying to pursue all of them, to really hone in and focus and to start my journey back to what I'm truly being called to. So that's what I see as being the recent past. Some of you might still be in that at the moment, or some of you may have already sort of gone through that time of confusion, that time of just not really knowing which way to turn. So this week here, as you focus energies, I really see the full whammy of awakening to those truths. So for me, this is where that path of what you're being called to journey to really begins to illuminate and open up for you. Under that Ace of Swords here, Gemini, I really feel like there might be a big revelation or a mental breakthrough, extreme clarity. Like if this card has the element of illusion and confusion, this is the sword that allows you to cut through that cloud, to cut through that fog, and to really see things for exactly what they are, to see truths. And once you do that, then you'll know, okay, well, I know which things to release myself from, to cut away from, and what things I really need to focus on. So yeah, it could be something, if it is a mental breakthrough, it can come from just your own epiphany or aha moment, or it might be something that somebody says to you that really sort of, makes you think, or really just sparks that inner knowing. Because under the Judgment card here, it says it is the divine time for you to awaken to these truths, to change your path, to come back into alignment with your higher self. That's what I really see for you in the Judgment card this week. So, it's really that angel coming in with that trumpet to give a good blast. It's like that wake-up call that says, hey, you know what? Get back on the right path. Maybe stop pursuing the ego-driven things, the materialism, the pretty people, and really consider what really makes your soul sing. And I think that you already have sort of started, as I said here under the High Priestess, you have started waking up to that, but here we have the big bang of that this week. And I think that could make you feel quite vulnerable, because sometimes a lot of our identity is tied up in those surface level things that we have been building our lives around. So, you could feel like these people here who are literally, naked and vulnerable, and sort of saying to the universe, well, if I'm going to release these people, situations, jobs, things, well, what next? What do you have for me? And you might feel like you're really coming from a place of, total vulnerability. But I think if you're true and honest with yourself, the life of the past, the path of the past, has been one of constriction in some respects. Because sometimes when we're on a path that doesn't really suit our highest purpose, whether we're aware of it or not, it is actually contracting for ourselves. It's not allowing us to fully live, an open, purposeful life that's really aligned with spirit. So I really feel like through this process, you are moving out of that, and through that, you'll really be able to regain your power, and it will be a great sense of victory for you. All right, and then coming in, we have Strength and the World. Yeah, so look, the World is such a beautiful card, because once again, it's a second card of victory in your reading, but it's also a huge completion. So I really feel that in order to journey back to what's really calling you, to what really aligns with your soul's purpose, that there will be a completion that needs to take place, and that will be a completion of something in your current journey that you'll need to release in order to get onto the right path. So you'll know what that is for you. It could be that job that's holding you back, that's taking all your time and energy so you can't focus on anything else. It could be that relationship that's no longer serving you and holding you back from meeting that person that you can really truly build a life and an empire with. Either way, the World card is an ending, but it's also a new beginning. So what it says is that through ending that situation, allowing it to pass, that is when you create the space for a whole new chapter to open up. The world energy, talks about literally leaping from, one life lesson into the next. And it is a card of destiny, so it tells you that it is the right time for this, and karmically, this is when this awakening, the seeing this truth, this kind of spiritual growing up is meant to take place for you. Okay, sorry about that, Gemini. I just got a flat battery, so we will just start with the strength and world again. So yeah, this is what I see as the immediate future. So what we have here is such a huge completion and new beginning under the world card. So what this says to me is that in order to realign with your life's purpose, or whatever you're being called to under this Imrama Oracle card, there may be something that you need to complete. An ending may need to take place. So, of course it'll be different for all of you, whatever that thing is, but I feel you'll know what it is, and it's that situation where you have learnt what you need to learn from it. The karmic contract is now complete. So whatever the situation is, it's probably one that feels like it's a little bit past its use by date. A situation where you feel like you might be a little bit stagnant in it now, and through staying in it any longer, you are holding yourself back from clearing the space for new things to come in. The world card talks about, whatever the magician set about to will into the world with his intention has now materialized and completed. So at some stage, this thing that you're about to complete may have been something that you actually wished for. Because it was part of your soul's contract when you came into this birth, but now it has completed, so you can literally release it and be like the dancer here, and step into your next cycle of life through knowing that you've had that sense of victory. You might not feel victorious in it, but Spirit says that you have, because you've completed what you were supposed to gain from that situation, whether it was challenging for you or not. The strength card here, look, it does say that it may not be easy for you to complete this situation. Look, I know that change generally is not easy for anybody, so there might even be some inner demons that you need to bring under control in order to, in order to complete the situation. Could be the demon of codependency, if you're releasing a relationship. Could be the demon of, like I said, following or chasing materialism, pretty things and people. But, really, you need to, in order to bring in the energies of the strength card, to meet that demon, or that side of yourself with its equal and opposite equivalent. So for example, if you're harboring anger or resentment, then we would meet that with forgiveness and compassion in order to bring that side of ourselves back into control, back into balance. Forgiveness really is the antidote for so much emotional pain and disease in this world, in this lifetime. And once when we're able to go through that process of basically clearing and balancing these sides of ourselves that hold us back, we really open ourselves up to our infinite potential. That's why we have the infinity sign here. So I think that's a really good reminder to bring this skill into your next chapter with you. But the world card, it's the last card of the tarot deck. It does say that you've arrived. You have arrived at the doorway to begin this new journey here. You've arrived at the end of this one that may have been a journey of not being as conscious, not of being as awake as you wanted to be. But this is saying that chapter is finished now. You're moving into a new stage of consciousness, new stage of awareness, and through that you are now journeying to the situation, or the things, the people, the relationships that truly align with your life's purpose. So that is a huge victory there for you, Gemini. It's like a leap in spiritual evolution for you. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, Gemini. Keep in mind it is a general reading. It won't resonate with every Gemini out there. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know how it's playing out in your daily life. I'd love to hear. And I'll be back here with you for another reading next week.